Good morning. I appreciate AFCEA TechNet for inviting me to this event and for all of you joining me virtually and listening to my remarks. Today I want to share with you our progress on one of our premier IT reform initiatives, the Fourth Estate Network Optimization, or as we call it, 4E&O. We often use the term Fourth Estate and assume that everyone knows what it means. In simple terms, the Fourth Estate represents organizations that are separate and distinct from the military services, such as the Defense Agencies and Field Activities, or DOFAs, Principal Staff Assistants from the Office of the Secretary of Defense, and the combatant commands. The 4E&O is a bold, aggressive reform program designed to transform the way DoD delivers IT by creating a better digital enterprise. As you all know, the department's digital enterprise is extremely complex and continuously evolving. It was built through the independent resourcefulness of DoD organizations when the concept of enterprise IT was early in its maturity and resulted in individual IT environments that met each organization's needs. Today's challenges are characterized by peer and near-peer competitors, growing cyber threats, and the imperative that we maximize finite resources. These require us to implement a digital enterprise that maintains pace with commercial innovation, improves our cybersecurity posture, delivers IT efficiently, and, most importantly, allows the department to fight and defend as a true joint force. At the heart of 4E&O is the drive to establish the modern infrastructure foundation and unified approach needed to deliver cohesive combat support capabilities to the warfighter. Any large-scale transformation carries significant risk, so to ensure we get it right, we have initially focused our 4E&O efforts on the DOFAs, essentially 22 agencies that individually own and operate their own IT infrastructure outside of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force. As a first step, 4E&O will optimize DOFA networks and service desks under DISA, the single service provider, to improve visibility of cybersecurity vulnerabilities, reduce operating expenses, and create a consistent end-user experience. Before we discuss our upcoming plans, it's important to understand the history of 4E&O and the associated activities and decisions that brought us to where we are today. In 2018, the DoD CIO, in partnership with DISA, performed a detailed assessment of the computing and network environments on an initial tranche of DOFAs. This assessment cataloged and analyzed network and compute assets, software, staffing levels, and existing support services contracts. We found that each DOFA operated their own unclassified network, classified network, and service desk. Even more eye-opening was that the DOFA IT ecosystem spanned across 850 unique sites, requiring over 1,000 civilian personnel and 600 IT contracts to successfully operate and maintain the networks and service desks of this ecosystem. While this assessment uncovered the complex and disparate nature of the DOFA IT environment, it also showed that organizations whose primary missions were contracting, health, human resources, logistics, and financial services, just to name a few, were dedicating a significant portion of their resources to IT. However, even with this investment, the DOFAs were unable to keep pace with technological advancement and industry best practices due to prioritization of limited resources necessarily and properly going towards mission requirements. This forced many DOFAs to maintain their own networks and the department's digital enterprise in a less than optimal security posture. And with the increasingly significant role of IT, our networks must enable success across all mission sets. As you can imagine, this entire situation could ultimately place the broader mission at risk. Even though this analysis noted that a more efficient and effective solution was necessary, the biggest takeaway was that each DOFA, regardless of mission, size, or IT budget, provided a common set of IT services to its customers. This insight demonstrated that we could establish a single service provider for the DOFAs and that this service provider could ubiquitously deliver a common set of IT services like end-user support, voice and video, and cybersecurity, which would then allow DoD to more easily and consistently adopt industry best practices and modern technologies. This transformation would also reduce costs through enterprise contracting, minimize duplicative IT purchases, and enable DoD to deliver a standardized end-user experience to the customer. But above all, this transformation would allow each DOFA to focus on their core mission and give the single service provider role to DISA, whose primary mission is the fulcrum for this unifying technology effort. The outcome of this detailed analysis is that the DOFAs align with the 4E&O initiative, the network and service desk migration schedule, and investment requirements and projections. The assessment served as a mechanism to validate our proposed way forward from a cost, schedule, and performance perspective. Knowing your history is important to understand where you're going. Now that we've discussed the 4E&O origin story, let's talk about what we've accomplished so far. In 2019, our objectives were to establish a shared strategic vision, collaboration, advocacy, and an executable plan to fully realize the 4E&O. Then, in fiscal year 20, we turned from strategy to execution. DISA issued 2 contracts, the Global Service Center and DoD Net, to initiate the 4E&O. These contracts serve as pathfinders to validate and further define both 4E&O requirements and execution plans, and they enable DoD to initiate migrations for that first tranche of DOFAs to the Global Service Desk. Also, we initiated the migrations of 2 organizations to the DoD Net. Over the course of the next year, we'll migrate the majority of the DOFA organizations to the Global Service Desk and begin transition of the next set of organizations to DoD Net. These activities will continue to teach us lessons on how we can improve our processes and plans, and will set the stage for successful migration activities in the upcoming years. While we have made remarkable progress over the past year and a half in creating the foundation necessary to establish a single service provider for the department, we also recognize that this is not the time to rest on our laurels. 4E&O is a multi-year effort, and we have significant work ahead of us. The DoD CIO and DISA are committed to achieving the vision of a single service provider that will deliver capability at the speed of relevance for our warfighter. Over the next few days, we'll provide additional detail of our plans for the 4E&O program. Vice Admiral Norton and my colleagues have prepared information briefs to educate everyone on our way ahead, to include how we can support DISA's provisioning of the 4E&O services. They are prepared to address questions to ensure there is a solid understanding of the 4E&O vision, goals, and objectives. I look forward to your partnership and support as we continue our journey to transform the current status quo by creating a digital enterprise that is more modern, secure, and capable. Thank you for your time and support to this very important endeavor.